going on, guys? It's about Wednesday morning right now. Just getting ready for some work. It's about 8 a.m. so I'm running a little bit behind. I'm about to be making some eggs here, so yeah, it should be pretty good. Alright, here we go. We got some 3 nice eggs cooking. Usually about every morning I cook about 3 eggs, a couple strips of bacon. Yeah, and just get ready for the day. Alright, so right here we have a breakfast that would make Gordon Ramsay proud. We got the eggs, we got the bacon, we got the coffee. It's like Lavazza or something. Honestly, yeah, I gotta pay for it, but I like it a little bit better than Starbucks. You gotta like ship it or something from Amazon, but it's pretty good. Pretty good. One of my favorite coffees. So, game plan today is definitely gonna be go to work and try and survive. Then come home, and then I want to give you guys the pros and cons of living in an apartment. So just a little background is yesterday I got home from work and my freezer, or like the refrigerator, but it was primarily the freezer, was making the most annoying noise that ever existed. Like the vibration was like shaking my whole floor, and it's never done that before. I was like, okay, well, this is an issue. This is a brand new apartment. Why would it be doing this right now? So I called maintenance on the app, and then they're supposed to be sending a team out, but now this morning, it's not broken anymore. So now I'm kind of like, should I call maintenance? Should I not? But anyway, all this has given me the idea to give you guys the pros and cons of living in an apartment. So it doesn't matter what your preference is, apartment living versus home living. This is going to be breaking down the pros and the cons from my perspective of living in an apartment. So I'll see you guys later today. What is going on, guys? Finally just got home from work. Long day, a few hundred milligrams of caffeine later, and we're feeling pretty good. We're feeling energized. So, like I mentioned earlier this morning, today we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in an apartment and all the exciting things that come with it and all the disappointments that come with it. So, starting off with number 1 is maintenance. Like I mentioned earlier today, is my refrigerator was not working at all. It was making a weird noise. So really kind of ruined my night last night. And I put in the maintenance request last night. Less than 12 hours went by and maintenance finally came. So probably like 30 minutes after shooting that clip, the maintenance guy came, knocked on the door, and fixed my refrigerator. So super stoked about that. But why this is important is we all live stressful lives. We have work, we have school, we have relationships to maintain, and just little things like inconveniences like your refrigerator going out, your air conditioning going out, are things that you just don't want to deal with, and going through the hassle of having to call the repair company, the warranty to have them fix it. Living in an apartment alleviates a little bit of that stress where it's on the landlord's responsibility when things like that break. So just something to consider. For me, amenities. That is the other pro of living in an apartment. So when I was looking at apartments, I really did want to focus on little amenities just because I like that kind of stuff. It's just something that appeals to me in looking into somewhere where I want to live. So some of the amenities that my personal apartment has is, I said personal apartment like I own the whole thing, but amenities that my apartment have is a trash valet. Now, what is a trash valet? Trash valet is great for people that are lazy like myself that don't want to walk downstairs to throw away their trash or go to the trash room to throw away their trash. It's a service, and they walk around each apartment and collecting your trash when you set it nicely out in front of your door. Now, you can't just dump it out. You got to put it in a nice bag. But it's one of those conveniences that I just really appreciate. It's just one of those nice things to have. Other amenities included are, maybe you wanted a pool. You don't have to worry about taking care of the pool. The apartment takes care of it. It's clean. You got little cabanas, little rooms you can rent out if you have friends. For me, don't have that many friends, so I don't have to worry about that. It's awesome. I swear I'm not lonely. But the next thing, the other amenity I just absolutely love is the Starbucks machine downstairs. I really enjoy Starbucks coffee when I'm not drinking that Lavazza one I had earlier. And so I get to go downstairs, press a couple buttons, and get free Starbucks coffee for free and it just tastes like the same thing that you get at Starbucks. If you get like regular like dark roast, like the Pike's Roast coffee, something like that. So little things like that for amenities really excite me about apartment living. Now, if you don't really like those things, maybe it's not a pro to you, but who knows. Another thing that's great about living in an apartment is they're great for living on your own. So you just moved to the new city, you got your job, you're all excited to start, but you don't really want to live with someone else, you don't really know, and you don't want to have a roommate from hell. So what do? Well, apartments give you the opportunity to live on your own. And they give you a nice little suitable like 1-bedroom apartment, maybe you want a studio, and it's very nice. But for me personally, when I had that issue of I lived with roommates that I didn't know in college, wasn't a big fan of that, and then it just kind of put me off. I didn't want to move to a new city, roll the dice on a roommate. Yeah, you can interview them and stuff, but you really never know who someone is until you live with them. So it just was one of those things I just didn't want to deal with, so I just decided to go with the 1-bedroom apartment. Couldn't be happier, and I definitely just saved a lot of money on like furnishing the place. Like there's not a lot of room to put different things, so it looks very decorated, but ultimately you can only do so much with 600 square feet. So one of the great things about living on your own. And finally, one of the biggest pros to me about apartment living is the location. Now, what are you talking about, Don? You can buy a house in location. Yeah, you can, but with apartments, a lot of apartments are in the busier parts of town, like near the downtown, near where the restaurants are, the bars are at, and very populated parts of the city where housing can be very expensive or it's not the best area. So the final pro is the location. Everyone talks about location in real estate. Well, that's the big thing for picking out your apartment. So for me, when I was choosing my apartment, there were certain things I wanted to live by. I wanted to be near the downtown area. I wanted to be near restaurants. I wanted to be near the bars. I wanted to be walking distance from my gym. Certain things that I just had set as my criteria and wanting to live somewhere. Yes, you pay a premium when you're by like the more fun parts of town, but it's an option that you do have while still maintaining a certain style of living through your housing that you do want. Now, let's say I just didn't want to live in this part of town. Well, apartments are going up everywhere. Multi-family units are becoming huge for young professional generation and young people in general, because we're either not buying houses because we don't want to be locked in, or we just can't afford them because there's no jobs. So there's always that. But if you do want to live in the suburbs, you can find a nice apartment with probably nicer amenities than I have in my more downtown location, and you can have the luxuries of apartment living. You don't have to worry about the maintenance. You don't have to worry about having a roommate. So when you're looking at apartments, it just does give you that variety of location, and you have so many more options to choose from than just picking from certain houses. But that's my opinion. Others could argue, but just wanted to tell you guys about that one. And if your opinion is like you like housing, well, you're wrong. Let's get started with the cons, and there are some cons of apartment living. So starting off with number one, and that is the personalization of your apartment. Now, if you're someone that likes to add a personal touch to where you live, you like your HGTV, do-it-yourself activities where you're changing things, you want to build things, maybe break down some walls, well, you can't do that in an apartment. In most apartments, you can't really paint, or you have to bring back the paint color to what it was when you got in. So it just limits some of that personal touch. Yes, you can put little shelves up, you can hang paintings, but in terms of personalizing it on that scale, probably not your best option. I don't really know a lot of places that you can rent where you can start changing things like that, so, but it is one of the cons of apartment living, that you just can't do what you want with your living situation. But next thing is the noise. Yes, living in an apartment, there's a lot of noise if you couldn't just assume, because you got people on your right, you got people on your left, you probably have people below you, and you might have people above you. Luckily I don't, because I live on the top floor, which is not a penthouse suite, which most top floors are. It's just a normal building. My apartment's not fancy like that. But noise is a big thing. I mean, it's just one of those things that you have to accept when you move into an apartment, that you're going to be around all those different things. For me, personally, the noise got to me when good old St. Patty's Day rolled around, and it's 12 a.m. I just wanted to go to bed early, didn't go out that day, just didn't really feel like it. And I'm woken up at 12 a.m. by a bunch of screaming girls, not even in their apartment, they're just hanging out in the hallway, and you're just thinking to yourself, like, what are they doing? So take a little quick look to see what's going on, and I swear to you, I don't know everyone that lives on my floor, but I am almost positive these girls did not live on this floor or even in this apartment complex. But one of the things that you're going to accept about being in an apartment, yeah, I could have called, the quiet hour police or whatever they are, but I'm not going to be that guy. Snitches get stitches. You know how it is. So just one of those things that I just had to accept, moved on, fell asleep, and just went on with my day the next day. It didn't really bother me that much, but it's just going to be one of those minor inconveniences that happen in your daily life. Finally, I'm going to talk to you guys about my biggest pet peeve and the biggest con about living in an apartment. And that is, wait for it, parking. Why is parking such a big thing to me? Well, I like to have a spot. I don't want to have to worry about if I'm going to get to park my car in the development. But when I live in an apartment, I do have to worry about that. For some reason, they did not build enough parking spots in this complex for all the residents. And guests are not allowed to park in the gated part. They're often towed, and you see the tow truck come around. They got a little parking police going around to ensure that. So for me, if I go to the gym at 8 p.m., I can almost guarantee myself I'm not going to get to park within the gated area where I feel nice and safe. I got to park near the train track, which is a stone's throw away. I mean, maybe 200 feet from the gate. But then I have to worry about myself at night. I got to worry about my car, a little small rock getting kicked up and hitting my windshield. It just kind of bothers me. I mean, and yes, you can pay for parking. You can get reserved spots. But I'm already paying for the unit. I don't really want to pay for parking either. So it is a con in my eyes, and it does bother me. But, I mean, it just happens. But we just went over some of the pros and cons of apartment living. Like I said earlier, these are my opinions. They don't have much factual foundation. Some of it's true, and then some of it's just my personal opinion. But I hope this video sheds some light on should you live in an apartment and what to expect if you do live in an apartment. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please leave a comment down below what you prefer and what are the pros and cons of apartment living. And yeah, if you like videos like this, please hit the subscribe button. Put out videos like this. Try to do it 3 times a week, but I'll definitely get 2 videos up each week. So yeah, look forward to seeing you guys again.